right, ladies and gentlemen, we're here for the second major of the year. A lot of excitement around this one. I'm recording from my old bedroom at my parents' house, which has been converted to the weed room.
Oh,
I know. I used to have to smoke in the shed, and now they pay homage by smoking in my old bedroom.
that makes
As you can
perfect
see
sense.
the inhale, exhale behind me.
Yeah.
Uh, Real quick, with like some of the good nostalgic moments you have when you're staying at home, because I'm watching all the animals here while my parents are in Europe. You also get some bad reminders. And here is a
Mm,
picture,
wow.
my graduation picture. And if you notice, Rob, I tried to take care of my unibrow before it and took off half of my eyebrows. It's a valuable life lesson because now I just get them professionally done.
There
So
you go. You learned early.
that's exactly right. You need to learn from your mistakes. And I feel like we're looking to learn from our mistakes from the Masters, and we're going to capitalize here.
I
So
like
let's get into it. Let's
now,
go.
now, did you pay homage to yourself in the now weed room, or is that just
I don't know, man. I feel like I should roll just like a fat backwood, like for
mm,
old time's sake, and not have to smoke it in the shed
mm,
and
mm.
just smoke it right here.
Oh,
But my weed days are past me. Strictly red, strictly red.
sugar
We got
red.
a nice bottle next to us, and there's a lot of big names at the top of this board. A lot of directions you can go. Take me right into it. Who do you like coming out of the gates?
Well, I mean, set the course here, right? We got Southern Hills Country Club down in Tulsa, Oklahoma, right? So, past couple podcasts we've talked about the weather. I'm not going to go making any weather predictions this time. I'm not a meteorologist, nor I mean the meteorologists themselves can barely predict the weather. All I'll
No, they
say,
can't.
the only thing I've heard is prepare for wind. So it looks like there could be some windy days down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It looks like that's kind of the norm down there for golf. So you're looking at maybe like 20-mile-an-hour winds this week. So something to be mindful of. Guys that can control their ball flight, guys that can hit good shots in those kind of conditions. Something I took a note to today. Otherwise, you're clocking into a long course, looking at 7,500 yards, which for you and I right now, anything is too long. 500 yards. I mean, God bless them out there. Par 70 course. So we're taking a look at par 70 scores as well this week. Like you said, Mike, like it's a major, it's a big dog tournament. Like I know we try to find some value in some longer guys during different tournaments in different spots. I'm not sure if this is the tournament for it. If you go back and look at recent winners, about let's call it about past 10 years or so, you're looking at guys that are top dogs, like just overall in terms of official world golf rank, and you're talking about guys that have like hot form at this moment, right? So they're kind of checking both those boxes. I mean, the big exception to that, right, is last year's Cinderella story with Mickelson capturing his major at the age of was it 50, right, turn on 51, oldest
Yeah.
champion, and unfortunately Phil Mickelson ain't walking in through that door this week, for reasons
No, it's not.
unrelated to golf. Tiger Woods is though, so he's in there, and we got another shot to watch Tiger this weekend. I'm always up for that. Any chance I can get to that, I'm looking forward to it. Anxious to see what we're looking at in terms of coverage too, because I know we raved about the Masters coverage, and I know we haven't talked golf since then, but it couldn't have been any better, at least on the Masters on their app and their platform. It was amazing. But anyway, yeah, getting into guys like again top guys this week. That's what I'm looking at. So I got a couple guys towards the top of the board that I like in a couple different plays. I'll hit you with my favorite play right off the bat. I know it's a guy that you don't really admire watching his golf, or I don't think you really root for him much either. But that's my boy Patrick Cantlay. I got Cantlay coming in at the outright at 22-1. He's going to be my favorite play on the outright because he's checking all the boxes for me in terms of metrics. Models, looking at different models, running a couple custom models based off a few things that we've already talked about. Spoiler alert, right? Strokes gained approach is important. You got to hit your second shots well in a major golf tournament. But other things we talked about, putting is big here, like especially taking a particular look at the type of grass. You can even get into that granular detail in putting. Camley is one of the best bent grass putters on the tour in strokes gained approach putting. Checks putt. You know what the old saying is: driving for dough and putting, driving for show and putting for dough. And Cantley's able to do it on these types of greens, so I like him there. And just overall, and he plays well in windy conditions too. So Cantley for me is a model pick. I also like the number. I like a guy of Cantley's caliber at that number. So he's my favorite top pick.
He's definitely strictly a model pick because there's nothing about him when you look at him that says, I need to back this guy.
Man,
he is, dude, it is painful to see him on my TV. So, like, for your sake, I hope he wins if one of my guys don't. But it would kill me to have to watch him for 4 hours on Sunday. I'll be pissed. That is like the last guy I want to see having to watch every single shot. Does he not creep you out at all?
I think he's different. I mean, he's there. He's just built. I think he's mentally different. I think, because one thing I was going to mention is last year that run he went on at the end of the year and in the playoffs was crazy. Like it was, like I'll call it Tiger-esque in terms of that short time frame at the end of that season. I mean, he went on a tear, going toe to toe with Rahm in a couple of those tournaments. And I just think the way he carried himself and the way he described that, like he just kind of keeps it all internal. Like speaking of Tiger Woods, like I think he even mentioned him and just the way he carries himself mentally on the course. So it's like it's not a lot of emotion, high or low. So I think that's why it comes off as just kind of that very aloof or like distant approach he takes. But so it's not particularly exciting, I would admit, but he's a solid player. So I like him at that number with checking all those metrics we talked about.
He is a solid player. I mean, I can't take that away from him. When he's on, there's a reason why he's always at the top of the board when you're looking at best odds. So like I understand it. It's just like I just can't stand the guy. I don't know why. I don't know him personally. He might be like the nicest guy ever. But until I meet him and get to talk to him, I think he's a total douche. That's how I feel about it. One person that I particularly love in this tournament, and it's for all the reasons that you said, and when he catches heat, he's one of the most dangerous guys on tour, and that's Justin Thomas. And I don't think you're getting a bad number at 18 to 1. Like, I don't think it's terrible. But when you look at the top of this board, and how everybody else is playing, they're not doing us any favors with anybody's numbers.
No. Well, some of the guys, yeah.
Some of them, but not the ones that I like, which is typical. So I like JT at 18 to 1. I know there's somebody that we totally disagree about how this tournament could go for them.
But what about JT first? I thought we put the douche alert on JT on the last round.
That's fine. I don't. You can have.
I understand that was because of my personal indirect kind of experience with JT at the Valspar. Okay, got it.
And you have every reason to feel that way.
Right.
Okay. Every reason to feel that way. You're putting your money on somebody that I don't particularly care for, and I'm putting mine on somebody you don't care for. It's not personal.
No.
Business.
No. I don't know JT. I don't know JT, but I'll tell you that to give you credit, right? Like talking about the custom models, right? We put together the stats that we've talked about. We combo them. JT tops or is near the top in almost all of them. Any of them that can run. So he's absolutely a good just fit, right, for the course and just for the tournament. I just think again, I just would stay away just with the short number. I just think there's other guys towards the top of the board, big dogs that you can get like a Cantley, right? Who at his best can play, just as well as Dustin Thomas, just for close to double or right? So, but let's get to that next name you talked about. So big name this week. I mean, if there couldn't have been a hotter name in golf at the moment than Scotty Scheffler, here comes Jordan Spieth in the last 2 weeks, who has a first and second place finish, leads the field, tee to green in strokes gained, looking for the career Grand Slam again at the PGA. What are your thoughts on Jordan this week?
I have an official 1-unit play on him to miss the cut.
Mm.
And I'm going to tell you my only reasoning behind that is because every expert I've seen, their favorite pick of the week is Jordan Spieth.
Yeah.
And we just know how that goes every single time. It never goes well. And I've seen a lot of boosts where Jordan Spieth is mixed into, say, 3-4 other golfers all to make the cut, where those odds have been boosted. So at plus 250, I'm all over that. This is just a straight arbitrary play.
It's big fade.
And that's it. That's it. I mean, do I think he misses the cut? No. And I'm probably going to take him in the round 1 3 balls just to hedge slightly, like we talked about earlier. But I honest to God think that his name is not going to be remotely close to the top of the board come Sunday.
That's hot. That's hot. It's a hot take because of what you said. There's so everything you're reading this week is a lot of love for Jordan Spieth. A lot of money has come in on Jordan Spieth already up to this point. I mean, he's down to 14-1, and like I told you, another guy I like. I mean, he checks all these boxes we're talking about. He's at the top of the models. It's just a question whether you want to fade him in this spot. I don't see anything right now to fade him to I'm going to bet him to not make the cut. I also feel like the 14-1 is too short. I'm okay with if you want to use like a promo, like a DraftKings promo. I think they're plus 300 to any outright.
Yeah.
Get him up to 17, get it closer towards I think the 20-1 or something around where he was. I think when it might have opened. If you're feeling Jordan Spieth, then I think maybe that's a play for the outright. My thought was to maybe. I mean, I probably won't be able to stay away from that. But my other thought was to maybe kind of invest in Jordan early. Like you said, the round 1 matchup, he's got McIlroy and Woods. That's going to be the premier matchup of Thursday, Friday. That's going to be, I mean, if you're watching or interested in watching golf on Thursday and Friday, and especially major golf, that's the group to watch. It's going to be fun. You got Tiger, you got Rory, you got Spieth. Spieth's at plus 145. Rory's the favorite at 140. Tiger's plus 300. I'll roll with Spieth early. I like Rory too. I can get to that, but I would roll with Spieth early and invest early. See if it's worth the hype right now.
Yeah, I would love Jordan Spieth if everyone else didn't love him this week. That's my only concern about him. And how long have we been doing this, Rob? It's every time you get the consensus pick by the tout and the public, you typically don't show up with your best game.
Yeah. No.
So that's all I'm going with, based on his recent form and him to complete the career Grand Slam. Yeah, I want to root for Jordan Spieth. I like Jordan Spieth a lot. He's a great golfer, and he seems like he'd be a good time to golf with. So that's somebody I will pull for if he is in the thick of things, as long as none of my guys are. But, I mean, he's not looking out for me, so why would I look out for him? Is there anybody else that you like?
To win, I'm going to throw a couple guys else out there for you. I like Fitzy again. Matthew Fitzpatrick at 50-1. I just think he's a solid player. I've been playing him in a couple of the big tournaments that we've talked about.
Yeah.
I think he lines up well for the course and the models we ran. I think he's got, again, another one of those guys that can play really well, and I think he has major game in him. And getting the 50-1 is a pretty solid number. So I like that too. And, I'm going back to the well with our boy X-Man this week. Looked great last week. Give me Xander Schauffele at 20-1. I'm telling you, when he finally busts that door down, one of us has to be there cashing in.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. No, I'm glad you're there.
I feel like we've kind of we've let that kind of fade off for a couple majors, a couple big tournaments recently. I see him playing well, as of late, especially last week. I'm ready to go back to the well with X-Man, and hopefully he can get his first one this weekend too. So I like him at 20-1.
I'm not mad at that play at all. I think honestly that one makes the most sense to me, just because we have been backing him for what, 4 years now, thinking he's close to it, thinking he's gonna finally break through. He's so long overdue for one, so I will not be surprised at all if he finally does win a major, and he deserves it. I mean, he's been close to the top on so many big tournaments that like he's another guy that I'm rooting for. But I'm not mad at the value you get with him at a top 5 finish just because of how he historically does finish.
Mhm.
And if he does win, you still cash out. Another guy, Willie Z, like you mentioned, he's always around the top in these big tournaments. Guy's got ice in his veins. Is there anybody that you have an official play on in the top 5 sector?
Well, Willie Z, 4 for 7 in cashing top 10s at majors. His last 7 majors, 4 for 7. So we're going to talk about a guy that finds his way up to the top of the leaderboard in a big tournament. Willie Z is definitely one of those guys. I don't have him on my card right now. I think just what he's done as of late, the last few weeks, month, has me shying away from him right now. But again, I wouldn't be surprised at all to see Willie Z at the top of the leaderboard, at any point during this tournament or for the duration of it.
When do we think that he makes that breakthrough and finally gets one?
Well, I think I don't know. I mean, I think it's like with a lot of these young guys, you see that kind of initial burst onto the scene, right, and then you kind of go through some of those growing pains on tour, kind of adapting to the tour environment, some of the big tournaments. It hasn't seemed like any of that stuff's phased Willie Z. Just looking at his numbers and how he's played in major tournaments. It comes down to the putter with Willie Z. I mean, you live and die with the putter with Willie Z, especially on an outright bet. If that putter is going just with his traditional, like the way he strikes the ball, he is absolutely a contender to win a major championship on any given week. But if that putter's not working for him, then we both know how frustrating it could be if you got an outright ticket on Willie then.
Yeah, there's just been some bad putting days for him where it's like 6-footers feel like they're 30.
Yeah.
And he just can't find the bottom of the cup. I know that feeling all too well.
Yeah.
So it's not like that's foreign to me.
And then you mentioned top 5. I'm locking in as official play. I like Rory McIlroy plus 450 at top 5. Again, I think as the odds-on favorite at most books at 14-1. Just I think it's way too short for me. But I do like the plus 450, 4.5 to 1 at the top 5. He's been finding his way towards the top of the leaderboard in big tournaments. What happened at the Masters a couple weeks ago. He found his way at the top again there. Whether he's in contention or kind of plays his way towards the top at the end, in traditional Rory fashion on a Sunday, looks like he plays his way into it when it's all said and done. I like him to finish towards the top of the leaderboard, so I like Rory at my only top 5 play.
I like that play a lot, especially from what we saw at the Masters on Sunday. Just plays lights out when the pressure's off. I can't say that about him because he already has a couple, but like when the pressure's off of late, he's like, I'm probably not going to win, and then it's like he plays himself into a position to possibly win it.
Yeah.
Just because like when he is out of his own head, he's still arguably the best golfer on the planet.
Yeah, I mean, again, you and I both know how much better you can be at this game if you're out of your own head. And
oh yeah, well,
I think
a head case.
That's like one of the biggest things for me. Like going into this tournament and watching McIlroy is like, what does he take from that at Augusta, right? And I think that's something he talked about after the tournament is just kind of that how he plays, looser, right? When it's like as if he's either out of contention or there's less stress, or right, there's not as much pressure on. Kind of plays his way back up to the top, right? But that's he's got to find that comfort level earlier, right? Of course, right? If he's playing like that earlier, I mean, no one's going to be able to catch him.
No, I agree. I mean, that's another guy that I'm rooting for.
Yeah,
there's a lot of fun guys to root for that are also great golfers that could very well be up there come Sunday. I just hope it's a combination of the guys that we have money on and we like. That's all I'm rooting for. besides Patrick Cantlay. That's the only one I don't want to say. And it's nothing against you, Rob, but that's just how I feel about the guy.
Unit, man. Think about the units. Come on, man.
No, you're right. You're right. So this might be one of our favorite golfers at the moment, and that's Lanto Griffin.
Lanto.
I mean, he has the best flat brim bowling shoe combination on tour. Still to this day, I've said that before in previous major casts that we've had.
Yeah.
He still has that combination, and nobody's trumped him.
Well, didn't you let him know that? Isn't that?
I did tell him that at last year's U.S. Open.
Good. As long as he got the message from TYP that
he did.
Got it.
He did.
He has our approval.
He didn't seem too phased by it. But I know deep down because he was just in gamer mode.
Yeah,
and nothing could phase him. But I know he thought about that throughout the next couple of days.
Yeah, after the fact, yeah, I wouldn't expect anything less from my boy.
No, me neither.
I thought that.
It's a good number at top 10.
Yeah, I like it a lot. 25-1. Is that what you have it at?
25-1 fits a couple molds. I think that's going to be an official half unit play for me to see Lanto finish in the top 10.
Yeah, I like Lanto. I like in terms of like now we're getting territory like dark horses or sleeper picks, right? Whatever you want to call it. I like Lanto as one of those guys. Checks boxes for me. One of our favorite guys. I like the 25-1 at top 10. So yeah, it's a play for me too.
Is there anybody else that you had in top 10?
Not in the top 10. I got a couple of top 20s. Looking at guys a little longer. Sepp Straka. Guys checking boxes this week. Also, just a guy we've seen this year. Kind of looks like he's taken kind of another step on tour. He competed in a lot of tournaments this year. What has a win this year? So I like him to compete as well at for top 20 at plus 600, 6-1. I like Straka there. I like taking a shot. I like in terms of top 20s and majors, anywhere from like 5 to 8 to 5 to 8-1. If you can get it, guys that you like, guys that fit what you're seeing, I think it's a good chance to pull a trigger there. So I have Straka at that number, and then a guy that this is a pure, just model guy. Like he keeps popping up in everything that I'm looking at when I'm running through these, these key things that we're looking for here, and that's Adam Hadwin, our neighbor to the north. I got him at 550, actually a little shorter than Straka at top 20.
I really like the Straka play for all the reasons that you said. Adam Hadwin's just one of those names we kept seeing that we couldn't ignore, I feel like. So you're getting a pretty good number, top 20. I mean, if his form this week adds up to what we saw that the computers were saying to us, then that should be a cash out, especially at top 20. Yeah. But we all know how that goes come Saturday, Sunday, Harold Varner in the Masters. Yeesh. There's somebody, and I have a little backstory to this. So Ryan Fox, top 20, plus 900. One of my coworkers today had a very bad day, and his name's Ryan Fox. And I saw Ryan Fox on a lot of models today, and I feel like that's just God talking to me.
That's a universe play right there.
That's a universe play.
That's a universe play. I'm glad we're adding a universe play into the card this week. We need a universe play.
Yeah, it's too much model, not enough universe.
I think it was the Derby. I forget what Derby race it was. I had a universe play last weekend, didn't hit. Not that they are supposed to hit more than non-universe plays, but what was it? I forget if it was the 7th or 8th race on Derby Day at Churchill. I think there was a horse. It was AC Expressway was in there, and South Bend was in there. I think South Bend. We played the exacta box. I think South Bend showed, but that was it. But again, universe plays. I'm always ready to ride them.
Yeah, and those are ones you're not mad at when they don't cash out.
Yeah. You got to play them.
But you're sick when you miss out on the opportunity. It's like I was handing you a golden nugget,
exactly,
and you didn't want to take it. So I have an official unit play on Ryan Fox.
What's
Finished
that?
Top 20 plus 900.
Okay.
Not a bad number. I've honest to God can never say. I can't even say that I've seen Ryan Fox play golf before.
Yeah, I haven't. I can't say I have either.
So
more golf than the average person, but I've not seen Mr. Fox go at it.
No, neither have I. So this is based on nothing that I know. This is all heart, all universe. So I'm pulling for Ryan Fox this week. And then besides that, Rob, I don't have anything else. It's just so hard to dictate these tournaments because the numbers are so tight on all the way at the top, and then you find good value in the middle. But as we know in these major tournaments, the cream tends to rise to the top.
Usually. I mean, that's generally how it plays out, and I think that's where at least that's where my card. I think our cards are both kind of skewing more towards the top of the board in different kind of plays and ways to play the top of the board. But there's a couple guys we like that are worth taking some shots on. In major championships, there's always going to be those guys, those grinders that we follow. A guy like Lanto or a guy like Straka, like Tom Hoagie, guys that you're going to have your mix of those grinders that that find their way to the top and play well on that week, and then you're going to find those guys, your Ryan Foxes, your Laurie Cantors of England. Look out for Laurie this weekend, who we have no idea who the name is. We haven't seen these guys play golf, but these guys play on international tours. They're playing well. They come to the U.S. in a big tournament, and for whatever reason, we see this name now for the first time at the top of the leaderboard, right? So there's going to be a couple. Don't be surprised to see a couple names like that, and hopefully it's Ryan Fox.
Hopefully, Lord willing. That's all I have for this one. I know we're going to be adding a lot of 3 balls to the mix every day, so be sure to put the notifications up on Twitter. Official cards will come out on Twitter. Is there anything you wanted to add?
Now take underscore pick. Take your underscore pick.
Take your underscore pick.
Yep, that's where the card. We'll make sure we get that out. And yeah, I mean, there always will be some fun ads like throughout the tournament, like we did with the Masters. We had like full cards. It didn't wind up being a great tournament at Augusta. I mean, it did for us for off the card reasons. I mean, we had some success in like fun, like major pools, but we got to get the card right for this one. So hoping some of our top dogs can come through here this week.
Yep. And there's a couple underdogs that can definitely pull through for us as well. So hopefully we double dip. Yeah, Rob, until next time.